Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Women Thrive podcast. I'm so excited to have you here listening to this podcast today. My name is Raimonda, and I am the founder of the Women Thrive Summit and Women in Business Club. And today we have very exciting guests, someone who always shines the light, shows up from her authentic self, and empower other women to be their own best version of themselves. I'm so excited to welcome Trudy Simmons to today's podcast. Hello, Trudy.
Hi, I'm very excited to be here.
You're such a big, bright light of joy, of cheerleading for women. And I am so excited to hear a little bit more about your story. So if you haven't met Trudy yet, Trudy Simmons is a clarity and productivity business coach for women entrepreneurs with a truckload of empathy and a little bit of a hard ass. She helps women to really shine and overcome some struggles, overcome procrastination, and she's able to help women find what you want to do, why you want to do it, and how to actually get it done. So Trudy, I'm excited to have this conversation with you today.
Honestly, hearing the introduction like that, it fires me up so much when you can talk about not just what do I want to do, but how to get it done. And the amount of things that we put in our own way that creates these obstacles that we need to overcome to just be ourselves in our businesses. It makes me want to get on a soapbox, which I'm doing at Women Thrive, and talking to everybody and saying, you can do this.
That's why I'm so excited to have you part of the upcoming summit in March in 2022, because I know not only you're going to inspire women with your amazing story and the challenges you have had to overcome, but how you have pushed through fear and challenges in life and actually been able to find your true and authentic self, and now to be able to serve so many women all around the world. So I'm excited to have your story heard and seen by other women. So maybe you can be inspired to push through the fear or anything that's holding you back to really show up as yourself. So Trudy, take me back a little bit about your story of how did you get here?
Well, I started my business because I got made redundant, which a lot of people have been, and that's why they start their businesses. But I got made redundant 13 years ago. Have had my business now for 12 years this year. And I came out of that feeling so depleted of joy, of abilities, of it was an unbelievable feeling of not feeling like you were a part of anything. And I let myself sit in that for probably about 6 months. I didn't speak to people. I shut myself away. I just felt like I was so depleted. I had to just hide. And that's not my personality. I don't know if you can tell. So I then had to come out of that and make sure that I was still looking after myself. I was still able to gain everything that I needed to gain. So I went job searching, and I got very bored of that very quickly, because when I walk into a room and go, hey, I'm like Tigger and the Energizer Bunny wrapped up in one and on steroids some days, and people go, ah. So I wasn't going to be able to sit in an office in a grey suit and be quiet, which I had been told to do in the job before that, to go, and they had to move my desk to another room because I was too happy. So I decided actually a friend of mine asked me to go and help with her business. And we got done in 3 months what she'd been wanting to do for over 5 years.
Wow.
And I didn't realize that I had any talents or gifts in being able to do this, because it's not just the how to get it done, which for me, with my analytical brain and I'm operational management background, so none of that's hard for me, but it is that part of getting everything out of someone's head when we are stuck. She'd wanted to do all of these things for so long, and they've been made so big that it felt unachievable. Wow. So when I sat with her, took everything out of her head and said, well, this can be done this way, and this you actually don't want to do anymore because you're telling me you don't want to do it anymore, but it's still on your head as on our list of things to do. It became really exciting to get these things done. And then she spoke to somebody else and she spoke to somebody else. And so it goes on in building a business. Word of mouth is very powerful. So that's how it started. From there, what I found and had to unlearn is that the male energy of me of getting things done. Come on, this is how you get it done. Put one foot in front of the other. Get this step done. Get this step done. It was how I'd been trained in corporate, and I literally had to go through a period of time of unlearning that because it was draining me. It was draining me in so many different ways of not being able to be me, because I was being what I was trained to be. It feels like I'm talking about a trained monkey. It was me. I had literally been trained over 20 years in corporate of how to be, who I was allowed to be. So I then went through 6 years of unlearning what I had been trained and just ended up being me. And in that, there was periods of massive challenges, big grief. My sister unfortunately died, and I had to approach these things with a whole different part of myself that I'd never had to experience before. And that was a massive making of me in my business, very sadly, but it was, because you learn who you are through those challenges.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That sends shivers down my spine, knowing that so many people in this world having to wear these masks and have been trained to be a certain way. And in that process, we really forget who we truly are. And I feel like through this, especially through the pandemic, people were forced to face ourselves now and recognize who we are. Because when you take everything away, you're just left with you.
Yeah.
What has really helped you discover yourself in this journey?
I think more than anything, it was when you go through fearful things or things that change how you react in the world. My biggest fear at all times was how other people would react, because I'm a people pleaser. I like to entertain people. I like to be the shining person. So when I'm sad or not that person, I don't want to be seen. So the thing that really changed and made me realize who I could be was my sister Jodie dying, and that dropping of all masks and being able to have the reaction from people when I couldn't wear any of the masks that I'd been trained to wear. It was just me. And what I saw, and I've had this happen a few times actually over the years, especially in that period of time, I saw people reacting and liking in a stronger way, a better connection with people. That was amazing. And then when I was in Australia for 17 years and moved back over to the UK and moved back over here not knowing anybody that had their own business. So I was literally starting from scratch going, hey, I'm over here. And the reaction from people in the UK was so visceral in that they were saying, we haven't seen anything like you in the UK before. What are you doing? I remember somebody in my family saying, you can't have a business and be this person. You need to get more professional. Whatever. Never going to happen.
Never.
I think that the biggest learning that I've had is that being that people-pleasing person is fine. We've all got a level of it. But for me, it was watching people's reactions and interactions when I am being the whole of myself in my business and personally as well. It just changes everything when you give yourself permission to be the whole of yourself.
Let's unpack a little bit this concept of people pleasing. It's a big one, really, especially for women, because, coming back to us being trained to be a certain way and having to play different roles in our lives. And I really appreciate you being so vulnerable and sharing your experience of you losing your sister, because I'm sure and I know personally how difficult this was for you. So let's unpack this a little bit more. Maybe for someone who is struggling with having to wear this mask to show up a certain way, and how this experience helped you recognize that you are enough on your own and who you are.
So one of the things, I love talking like this. I love deep conversations. I love getting to the feelings and the mindset of how things happen. But I'm also very practical and very process driven and action taking. That's how I move through a lot of the fears that go through everybody on a daily basis. So when you're talking about the people pleasing and how people approach that for themselves, my brain automatically goes to, okay, but how do we get through it? How do we deal with it? How do we make sure that if we have awareness around it, which is one of the best things that you can do, is say to yourself, okay, I have awareness around this. I live my life pleasing other people in some way. That doesn't actually benefit me and what I want to do. What can I do about it? And one of the things that I talk about a lot is saying no. And it seems like there's two parts of this. It seems like the easiest thing to do, but when you're a people pleaser, that action of saying no can drain you because it feels so selfish in doing that. So one of the actions that I would say, that if you're listening to this and you know that you are people pleasing, practice saying no. I gave a presentation yesterday and somebody said, but that's a really hard thing to do. I said, when have you done it? I haven't. Okay. Go and do it 50 times. And the first 50, it will feel crippling. It will feel that you're nasty, that you'll feel guilt around it. You'll feel selfish. The 51st time, you'll be like, woo, I just gave myself time back. So there is a lot around when you're that people-pleasing person, is to say no. And believe me, I've only been around this feeling, this awareness for, 6 years. It's not a thing that goes away automatically. You really do have to work at this, and especially if you know it's a part of who you are. But the other side of that is receiving help. And again, we do not like to receive help because we are Wonder Women and we can do it all, and we don't need to ask anybody for anything, and we can do everything, and we can be the mother, the wife, the girlfriend, the businesswoman, the everything that we need to be wearing at any given time. Just receive help. I promise you that somebody has said to you in the last week, can I help you with that? Whether it's with your social media or with going to get the shopping for you, or looking after the kids for an hour, somebody will have offered you something and you've said, no, that's fine. I can do it. Well done. Just be prepared to receive help in some way. If you say no and receive help, your corner of the world will change.
You're speaking to me. Just yesterday, I have been offered help. And I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. And trying to conquer the world all on our own.
Yeah.
And it's such an important thing to learn that it's okay. It's okay, to just receive, because especially we as women, we servers, we givers, we nurturers, we give, but don't always know how to receive. So this is a really powerful message that I truly appreciate you sharing that.
But it's for those people pleasers, especially because when you're trying to please everybody else and you're trying to be that person to that person and this person to this person, and you're not looking at the bigger picture of saying no, receiving help, looking after yourself, then what you're doing to yourself in that pattern is detrimental to how you can show up and impact in that bigger way that you want to do. And I see it with clients all the time when we start unpacking these little patterns that go on in their minds, and they haven't seen these patterns before. And these little triggers and the circles that can happen, and you start saying, stop the circle here. And I'll go, crikey, that would change how I then reacted to that. And it's that ripple effect that can happen. And the aha moments when somebody sees, oh, crikey, I've been repeating that pattern since I was 10 years old. And then you can, because we're adults and we're doing adulting, boring, then you can change these patterns and be successful in every way that you want to be. Why not?
Amazing. So tell me, how do you serve your clients when you work with your clients one-on-one in group setting? I know you're doing some amazing things, so I want to make sure we have a little bit of time to cover that. Tell me, how do you serve your clients?
So many ways. Well, the main thing that I do is I'm clarity productivity business coach for women entrepreneurs. That means that I want you to have the clarity in what you're doing, the direction and the focus to be able to get everything out of your head, structure it into actionable plans and get it done. I say boldly that there's nothing in the way of where you are now and where you want to get to, apart from taking the actions. And I can help you take any actions towards where you want to get to. Where I see clients getting stuck is that first step towards what they want to build for their future. So because I've got this practical and analytical brain, I am able to see the steps to be able to take to get you to that next place.
I love that. And I know how practical and, that productivity, sometimes we run ourselves in circles and trying to, get to our goals, but really not breaking our steps down, not really, we see the end goal, but we get so overwhelmed in the process.
Well, and this was one of the gifts that I was given, that I was told other people can't do, is that I can see the big picture and I can see the very next step. And ordinarily people can see one or the other. So because I can see both, I can see the steps in between that need to be taken. And that is the clear path to getting you to where you want to get to. That's how I help my clients. Wow. In doing that, there's a lot of mindset stuff that goes on and a lot of those patterns that we can realize and work with, not against, to be able to help people to really build what they want. And again, with women, we do not know or cannot verbalize what we want. And when we can, there's nothing that gets in our way. So I help clients to do that. I also build platforms for women to be seen and heard in safe environments. So I've just launched the Shine On You Crazy Daisy book and podcast, which I decided last year. I then had 3 books where women entrepreneurs get a chapter. They can decide whatever they want to write in their chapter to get their story out there. So in 3 books, that's 90 chapters, 90 women entrepreneurs that have shared their story, the trials and tribulations, the real reasons they have their business and what it takes. And that has been a real eye-opener to get that out into the world. I built a podcast with the chapter writers. So there's 90 episodes of that out. We've had over 3,000 downloads, I think, in 2.5 months, which was crazy. So that was really exciting to build these environments that women could be seen and heard. And then networking events for women around the world to come to, and a fun environment. I hope you can imagine with me at the helm. It is, we have the craziest conversations that is called the Crazy Daisies. And we network and we do good business because people can get to know, like, and trust you. This is not about turning up and not being able to be the whole of yourself. People turn up in their pajamas if that's what you want to do. It's online, by the way. It's not in person turning up in pajamas. So yes, I have built this business over 12 years, and to watch the ways that we are able to change and adapt according to who we are rather than what we're being told to do is phenomenal.
I love it. And this is really a testament to your approach to life and business, in productivity, in the mindset, because I'm sure you had fears and going to unknown, of launching multiple books and managing so many authors and doing the podcasts. to see that vision and then to execute it, and you executed it in such a fast time. That's phenomenal.
Once I decide on something, I don't let anything get in the way, including every fear. And believe me, I wake up most mornings with some form of doubt in my head. You know, there's little voices that go on saying, you can't do that. Go and get on social media more. That's where you need to be seen. I can't, you know, all the conversations that go on in your head. But I think that when you are clear on what you want to create, it is about taking the next step. I've never done a book. I've never written a chapter. I've never published anything or done a podcast. I did it years ago. But it is taking that next step and thinking, okay, I've done that. What's next? I've done that. What's next? And building, just building consistently.
It's just, you know, every day the fears will show up, and it's down to us whether we're going to listen to that voice or just keep going, because I believe that we all have some beautiful dreams and goals and impact to make. We're here on this planet Earth to leave our imprint on this earth. You're not just here to exist and just to survive. I think we are all here on a particular mission and purpose. So I love that you have taken that mission, and look how many lives you're impacting, not only just through your one-on-one work and your group programs and you know, your networking events, and your energy is such a big light. It's a huge light, and I'm so glad that you have embraced and didn't listen to anybody else telling you can't be like this in business. Embrace who you are, and I cherish that so much about you, Trudy.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I see a lot and I hear a lot about people staying stuck and feeling stuck in what they're doing, even though they know they're meant for something more or they're meant for bigger things. And you can talk about it or you can do something about it. Okay. And if you are listening to this and you're feeling like, yeah, that's how I feel, I just feel stuck, I feel like I'm walking through treacle, do something about it. Take action in some way that moves you from feeling like that, because nobody wants to feel like that. Nobody wants to stay stuck in the fear and not be able to move forward with what you want to build. You're the only one in the way of that. So I talk about the wishing, waiting, and wondering. You can sit there wishing, waiting, and wondering about what could happen. What could happen? What am I waiting for? If this happens, then I'll do this. Just do something.
Wow, I love that. Trudy, this has been a really, really amazing conversation to be had with you. And I'm so grateful for your light. I'm so grateful for your voice, and grateful for your contribution to the upcoming Women Thrive Summit, which is coming up in March. And I know you will be delivering an impactful session, as well as possibly running some networking time for the ladies.
I can't wait for that. I really can't. I just love getting people into a room. And when you have that feeling around, oh, I'm turning up, but I'm really scared, and what's going to happen, and that the mental thing that goes on when you walk into a room with a number of other people that are talking about business and who are you to be there, and all you just turn up. I've got you. I can't wait to get you introduced to other people and enjoy it.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. So for those of you listening to this podcast right now, do make sure you follow Trudy on her social media channels. Trudy, where do people find you?
Instagram at Daisy Chain Group and Facebook at The Daisy Chain Group.
Amazing. So do make sure you connect with Trudy across her social media platforms. Hunt it out on her website, join her programs, or listen to her podcast. So what is the name of the book again?
Shine On You Crazy Daisy.
So if you're feeling like a crazy daisy and you're ready to take the action and find actionable steps to your business and personal success, do connect with Trudy. I am excited that Trudy will be speaking on the Women Thrive Summit coming up this March. Women Thrive Summit is really a platform for women to rise and thrive. And this year we have more than 30 amazing speakers sharing their stories, sharing their impact, their missions, and impacting the world in a much bigger way. Our community has grown so much over the last few years, and I am so excited to welcome you to be part of this journey. So if you feel connected, if you feel inspired, do make sure you go over to womenthrivessummit.com and go ahead and register. Be part of the event, be part of the conversation, connect with other people. And I guarantee you that all those fears and those little voices that keeps chattering away to say you can't do it, you will be able to recognize just how powerful and how inspiring you are on this journey yourself. So I welcome you to the womenthrivessummit.com to register your ticket and be part of the journey, because this is truly an exciting journey.
Yes.
Trudy, you're amazing. You're incredible. I'm so honored and excited to have you part of this podcast, this summit, and this journey, which you have been just such pure, just a light. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you again on another episode. Take care for now.